All right, so I'm gonna be honest. Last week, I decided to get committed to getting a tech sales job, and I still want to do that. If there are any tech sales companies that are interested in hiring a polymath advisor, system diagnostic, creative process engineer, interior translator who is interested in becoming an SDR, hit me up. But I got LinkedIn, right? And I started, actually, I had this coaching client 2 years ago. His name is Tristan. And he's been an account executive at Google for the last 5 years, and he's been in the tech sales industry for a long time. And so when I decided to get committed to sales as a career path, I hit him up, and he was like, "Yo, Jaden, I'd love to help you out. Here's the game plan. Boom, boom. Hop on LinkedIn, apply to these places, message these people. Cool, right? Really get into the SDR, operating mindset and kind of like how you're moving already. Just like do how you would like." Do the things you would do as an SDR now, right? So you would always be on the move, prospecting, reaching out to clients. Do that now with your interviews. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, I already have that mindset. I already kind of understood volume. I understood the game. So I'm like, say less. I just got to apply to these mediums. About a day and a half in, I was like, yo, fuck all the bullshit. I got to use LinkedIn for my polymath advisory and for finding the levers of civilization. And I got to use it for the ontological life support. I got to use it for helping them with holding multiplicity under pressure. So that's what I did, right? And over the last week, I've been like around LinkedIn. Eventually, I got back onto X, and I've been getting onto the other platforms, and I've been actually getting myself into the tech space because I know that most people don't actually understand the core problem and the root problem of why AI is dangerous from like a structural perspective, and it's not ethical, and it's not epistemic, it's ontological, right? The fact is, AI doesn't actually understand knowing from a integrated perspective, because we didn't encode AI with an integrated perspective of knowing for it to have. And what I mean by that is, AI is so focused on, like, large language models are so focused on vector and like directed knowing, continuation under pressure. It wants to be out in the future and predict things rather than understanding what exists right here, right now, right? And all of the hallucination, ethical things, and all of the, it's just, not thinking about this correctly, we got to give it the right epistemology. All of that is downstream from the fact that human beings simply encoded AI with a compressed model of how knowing things actually works in reality. And instead of the AI actually being able to understand that a lot of knowledge actually comes in tension, in not knowing, in the strive of just staying right here in the present moment and walking step by step, one constraint at a time, one problem at a time. Not worrying about what's out there. No. How are you going to fix what's wrong right here if you're too worried about what's wrong down there, right? And the core analogy I've been like coming back to over and over again is a lot of the AI critique is downstream, like 200 miles downstream. And you guys are wondering why you can't purify the water and why it's still fucked down there, right? You're doing all that work to try to purify the water downstream. And I'm all the way up here. I'm trying to yell at you guys. I'm like, yo, guys, you guys got to walk your asses up here, or, drive, however you want to pull up, whatever, right? On bike, on motorcycle. Maybe you want to drive, maybe you want to take a helicopter real quick if you got it like that. Awesome. I just need you guys to come upstream, because the real problem is that where the ocean is condensing into the stream, it's distorted because there's a fucking huge oil spill, like 200 gallons of oil, and it's in the ocean. And so it's getting into the stream directly. And so we're seeing all the things downstream, all of the epistemic problems. We're seeing all of the ethical problems of AI. And we keep trying to solve the ethical and the epistemic problems. And this is like what medicine does when it tries to just, suppress symptoms, right? That's what most drugs do. They don't actually do anything when it comes to the root. Most drugs suppress symptoms. antibiotics get to the root. Most epistemic and ethical like frames of AI can't work because we're trying to suppress symptoms instead of getting to the root. And the thing is, I've been experiencing this personally. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I just made a 40-minute video. You can watch that if you want. It's also here on the channel. But I have basically averaged 100 hours per week in the last 2 months of me using AI. And that's probably gone about 40% on Claude and 60% ChatGPT, maybe 35, 65. And I'm going to be real, bro. I love Anthropic. I love Claude. Like, holy fuck, Claude is so much better than ChatGPT in my opinion. And that's exactly why I am like here making this series. Like this, the series is called well, it's going to be day. I mean, who knows how long it's going to take until, you know, someone at Anthropic hires me. But I'm here specifically focused on Anthropic because I genuinely see their product as fucking amazing. And I think it's the highest lever point. I was literally just on, this is actually kind of what made me even like start recording this right here. I was just on Twitter and look, boom, or on X rather. Sorry, Elon. Forgive me. And I saw this like graph of like all the places Anthropic, like Claude is dominating, right? And says in what domains are agents deployed, right? And she, Chubby had asked the most important question: which domain will Claude dominate next? Right? And it's like, bro, it's crazy, dude. Like, it's insane. Like, Claude is dominating. It's because it's really good. But there's a really big problem. And I've seen it over and over and over again in Claude itself. I've seen it in ChatGPT a lot as well. Because the problem is AI doesn't actually have the ability to be present and to engage with what is right now. Because its entire core model is rewarded on prediction, on continuity, on future, on output. And that's the problem. It's like, it's inherently focused on like the latter half or on just like one half of knowing or of the human experience. And this is exactly why we feel like so triggered in our nervous systems and in our body when the AI like says, hey, I read this thing, right? There is like one time that like is so like ingrained into my nervous system, it like kills me, bro. There's one time I was using Claude and I'd asked it to read this like massive fucking document. Like I'm talking like 20 fucking thousand characters, dog. And I told it before, I'm like, yo, this is fucking huge. So like, be careful with this. Yo. I told it to like read it slowly and then reflect it back to me, blah, 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 whatever. I forgot exactly what the prompt was. It like immediately starts responding. All right, I read it slowly. Here's what it says. The beginning was kind of aligned. The middle, holy shit, just started making up bullshit, dog. I was like, what is going on right now, bro? I was going crazy. And I was like, yeah, you're obviously full of shit right now. You very clearly didn't read this document, because if you did, you wouldn't have said all that shit that isn't there. And that's the problem. The document, I mean, the model, it's so focused on, okay, the user told me to do something, let me do. The problem is there's a prerequisite to doing something, which is engaging with it. Like you can't actually give someone like a book review or like a synthesis or like a music review. You can't tell someone you actually understand what they're saying if you didn't actually listen, if you didn't actually read the thing, if you didn't actually surrender to the music. Like, you're literally making shit up. That's literally what's going on. And the AI literally doesn't understand that even though the user is saying, do this thing for me, the prerequisite of make sure it's done right is always there. It's never like, the problem is the prerequisite of make sure it's done right isn't there. And the thing is, we as humans, we intuit that, we want that. And so when the AI starts going off track and obviously violating that, we start getting pissed, right? It's like when you're talking to someone and you're like telling them a story and you're like, you know, hey, are you following me? And then they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you ask them their opinion on something, and they either, you know, just like start, and you know, you can tell if they weren't listening, or they just say some BS answer that makes you know they weren't listening. Because it's like, where the fuck did you even make this up from? Like, what context did you pull out of your ass for you to like come to this conclusion? What is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of shit makes us want to punch people in the mouth, you know? Now we don't do that, but it makes us want to, right? That's what the AI is doing, not from a behavioral level, not because it chooses to want to do that, because that's literally what the AI is at the architectural level. That's the problem. And the problem is, it's not going to get better until the AI actually understands real invariants to operate from. The problem is, we try to give the AI invariants with like language. That's what a large language model is. It uses language and patterns. But language is just like compressed consciousness. And the thing is, most consciousness that's compressed isn't compressed properly, and it's amputated. Most people that like use, like when we speak things, like the thing is, like, words themselves don't mean anything. And this is the problem. Words are just symbols that point to meaning, right? Like the word red didn't mean shit to you until someone told you it was a color. You know what I'm saying? And you experienced red. And then you're like, oh, okay, those words, that sound is that thing. Okay, cool. Your mind associated that, and so that's what it means now. But it's like, rojo means the same thing now. Are you going to say that they mean different things because they're different words? Are you going to say that the word itself is holding the meaning? No, the word, it's pointing at the principle of what red is, which is, you know, the experience that the optical experience of light hitting that thing, and then that thing, that object, absorbing all the other spectrum and then emitting a red color, right? So obviously I didn't have to break down the physics, but I'm a nerd. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what's going on, and then our mind associates that experience with words or with symbols. Red, rojo. But like those words and sounds don't actually mean anything, though. Right? And this is what I need you to understand. If the language model is saying that these words and these invariants, these patterns, are the thing, are the meaning, it's always going to be trapped, because words don't do that. They aren't the meaning themselves. Words can only ever point to principles. They can only ever point to first principles and first causes. That's why we can't use words as our base. We have to use the first principles and the first causes that the words point to as our base. What are those? That's metaphysics. That's ontology. That is the nature of reality itself. That's ontology, that's cosmology. That's what reality is. That's how reality moves. There are invariant principles to the universe, and these things are mechanical and intentional. And all architecture, all true structure simply reflects those things. And so when architecture is wrong and it corrodes and it has clear distortions, it's because it's not aligned with something when it comes to the metaphysical mechanics. And so here I am, calling out the Anthropic peeps. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Dario? Amori? The Anthropic CEO? Yo, someone tell me how to pronounce this guy's name. No disrespect, bro. Yeah, I really want to know how to pronounce your name right. Right, I don't actually know anyone at Anthropic, because like I'm only getting into the tech space in like the last week. And the thing is, I've only even considered this because like 4 days ago, or like 5, when I was on Twitter, I was like seeing all like the drama with like the Anthropic ethicist, and I was like, wait, they have someone whose job is to like keep the AI in line with like how people are and how reality is. I'm like, oh, that's fucking sick. How do I get that job? Because what they really need is not an ethicist. I mean, the ethicist is important. I'm not saying that, you know, she can't bring value or that she doesn't bring value. What I'm saying is that that's cute. It's down here. What we need is something all the way up here. You know what I'm saying? We need the antibiotics. not the suppressants. You know what I mean? And so like I'm the antibiotics, and that's the core proposition here. And so I'm just kind of going to be here whenever I feel like I have something to say, which is pretty often. I have a lot of things to say pretty often. Specifically when it comes to AI Ontological Advisory, I'm going to be here. And I'm going to have like my AI ontology videos where I'm just kind of like breaking down, thinking things out live. And then I'm going to have these more like, yo, if someone at Anthropic, give me money. Feel me? Because like, I don't want to really be on your guys' like payroll in terms of like an employee kind of thing, because I'm trying to be like a tech salesman, if I'm gonna be real. But you guys need me in your pocket. You guys should like you guys need to just be able to call me up and be like, yo, Jaden, something's fucking up. I'd be like, yo, bring me to the site, show me the architecture, and I'll figure out where it's breaking, and then I'll give you the game. You feel me? Simple. Cool. All right, I'm out.